What do you want to do? Cinderella?
Sure, Cinderella.
You're not going to post this unless
Yes, I am.
Okay, so Cinderella was like her dad was such an asshole that he, like, when her mom died, he remarried this bitch, and he totally wasn't even there. I mean, didn't even pay attention, but suddenly his stepdaughters are wearing nice clothes and have rooms in the house, but his daughter has to sleep in the fireplace and like clean and take out their, you know, like whatever chamber pots and evidently dad just didn't notice, but finally, you know, like dad dies, and you know, I guess things just continue to get worse, and like the stepmom would like go and like throw lentils in the fireplace, but Cinderella, go clean those up. Cinderella would have to go crawl around the ashes and pick up the lentils and put them in a bowl. Well, we don't know why it doesn't make. I haven't figured that part out. Anyway, so she would sit in the fireplace or in the chimney in the fireplace, and she would read books and whatever. Somehow she had books back in the 1500s. And, right? Okay, so but she was friends with all the animals. And then let's see, there's the ball. They got a letter in the mail, and the prince is looking for a bride. So, you know, he's going to pick one that night at a ball. So a letter goes out to invite all the young ladies in the kingdom. And so the stepsisters were, you know, they go shopping, get their clothes, and they get all fabulous. And Miss Cinderella, she couldn't figure shit out because she didn't have anything. I mean, she didn't have shit. And anyway, but she gets his stepsisters ready to go to the ball, and they're ugly. And
I like the quotation mark, ugly.
we don't know when it's ugly. Is it ugly on the inside or on the outside? Probably both. And anyway, she gets the stepsisters all dressed up, ready to go. And so they're like heading out to the ball, and she's she's crying and shit and stuff. And she's all of a sudden, you know, her fairy godmother shows up, and you know, of course, she couldn't be bothered to show up any other time, just then, because there's a ball, and there's a prince involved. So she shows up, and you know, turns like what? I don't even think she turned a pumpkin into the carriage. She did turn a pumpkin into the carriage, and something else. I don't remember if there were mice or there's something to do with rats. I'm pretty sure. Anywho, and then she bewitches a dress and glass slippers, because glass slippers have to be the most comfortable thing in the world. If you've never worn nice shoes, let's make some out of glass. So Cinderella like loads up in the carriage, and she's off. And she gets to the ball and unescorted shows up in this carriage. Nobody with her, because that's normal back in the 1500s. She just walks in, doesn't have a name. They don't seem to care. She looks pretty. And the prince sees her, and he just falls in love with her, and they dance in, and then and she'd been warned, you know, that midnight, bam, you know, clock strikes 12, and you know, spell's over. She hears the clock start to strike, and she takes off running in her glass slippers that didn't break evidently, and she's running down the stairs, and one of her slippers falls off her foot, but she disappears wearing one shoe. And it gets out, and she's got, you know, and then she gets to walk home, and I don't know if the dress just disappeared or turned back into rags. We aren't really clear. She's probably naked, walking around naked, holding the shoe. And I mean, why didn't the shoes disappear? Always wondered about that part. But anyway, so she gets back, and you know, she's back, and she's in bed when the stepsisters get home. And oh, it's so fabulous! But Princess with that other chick all night, and of course they didn't recognize Cinderella because I don't know, like you wouldn't recognize somebody you'd grown up with. Anywho, so the prince is that's the one. You know, I don't know her name. I don't know where she came from. I don't know anything about her, but I want to marry her because I dance with her. But he had that one glass slipper. And so he sent around his little duke, or whatever the dude was, and he went door to door to see whose foot would fit that slipper. Well, the wicked stepmother convinced one of his daughters to cut off her big toe so she could fit her foot into the shoe. Mm-hmm. So she takes a knife and she slashes off her big toe. And yeah, she got her foot into the slipper, but blood was squishing out of it, and all of a sudden these birds start screaming, oh, what is it, like, look at the blood, tells the story, something. Anyway, and so he looks like, oh shoot, you cut off your toe, never mind, you're the wrong sister. And I don't know if he like cleaned the blood out of the slipper before trying on the next sister or what, but the next sister decides to cut off her heel so that her foot will fit into the slipper. So one sister's cut off a toe, the other one decides to slash off her heel. She cuts off her heel, and what do you know? Shoe fits. Of course, it's a clear glass slipper. I can't imagine. I guess they probably did leave the blood in from previously. Anywho, well, so the shoe fits. Oh, well, we're gonna get married, and you know, I mean, they're supposed to be ugly. You'd think he'd be able to tell the difference. I mean, somebody would pick up on that.
know.
But, you know, we don't know. Anywho, yeah, the birds start screaming something, look at the blood, blah, blah. And sure as shit, the shoe didn't fit. And now this one sister's missing a heel, one sister's missing a toe, and Cinderella's locked up in a room or whatever. Cinderella comes out, and what do you know? The bloody slipper fits her foot, and she has the other one. So anyway, okay, it's her, and they bring her back. So at their wedding, this is the really cool part. So at their wedding, the stepsisters are her bridesmaids.
Really?
And yeah, and so as they're walking up to the altar where the wedding's going to happen, birds, the same birds that were screaming about the blood in the shoes, go down and they plug out one of each of the sisters' eyeballs. Each sister loses one eyeball. And then, but meanwhile, so then the wedding occurs.
Despite the eyeball thing.
Despite each of the bridesmaids missing an eyeball, they have the wedding. And then when the wedding's over and they're walking back up the aisle, the birds come down and pluck out each of the sisters' other eyeballs. So I'm thinking that would be a really traumatic wedding. I mean, it would for me. It would for me. And I would think it would be traumatic for the guests. Possibly the preacher. Anyway, but they lived happily ever after.